We're going to be getting some new piglets tomorrow, and they're going to be our breeder pigs. And based on the success that we had with the previous batch doing that electric fence training, I came up with a new setup that I'm pretty happy with. It used minimal amount of material, our existing fencing, and I was able to set up the entire paddock area without I won't need to move any fencing during the training process. The only thing I'll have to move is their food, water, and shelter. So I'm going to show you that and show you how it's going to work. So this is also in a new cleared area. So this is a brand new area for the pigs. Notice none of it's dug up. So it's going to be a little challenging to see, I think, on the camera. But there are 4 sections here. The fencing is made up of 6 50-foot welded wire fencing. There's one that goes from that post there along here, wraps around that post, goes along there to that post, which is in the middle of that wall. There's another one the same distance farther out. So there's one there. There's 3 more on each other corner, set up exactly the same way. So basically the fence wraps the corner at the midpoint of the fence. And then on the inside, there are 2 fences going from the middle down to the center posts there, which are in the middle of the 4, and then out to this corner. So it's basically completing the square, and then there's another one on the other side that goes out, comes in, and out, completing that square. So that gives us 4 squares. Each one is 25 by 25, which, unless you're using circles, is the maximum amount of square footage you're going to get for that amount of perimeter, that amount of fencing. So for the materials used, this is basically the most efficient setup I could come up with. You notice the outside perimeter is marked by the the hard metal, more permanent fencing. It's not exactly permanent, but it'll move. But it's a little more sturdy, gives some structure. And in here, to kind of like help hold up stuff, there's these temporary fences. Now the way this is going to work is the pigs will start in this area. You can see their shelters there. They'll also have their food and water will be added. This is, if you look down here, some concrete blocks so I can step over the fence. Gives me a little height. You'll notice over here there's you can see the little electricals. This paddock and the one next to it are both electrified. The pigs will stay in here for a week. I'll break a connection over there and pull the fence a little bit forward. I'll move them into this section and they'll stay there for a week. Once that's done, I'll take the electric out of the original spot they were in. I'll move it over to the 3rd section, which currently you can see has no wires. Once they move after a week from here to here, repeat the process to the 4th. So it's pretty basic. And their shelter will move with them. I chose the first pen as basically the one that had the least issues. You notice that this ground is kind of hilly, but in this area, it's relatively flat. There's not too much area for them to sneak under, and they're not going to because the welded wire is going to act as a visual barrier while they learn that the electric fence hurts and they don't want to touch it. The second area is pretty good. There's a few gaps. The 3rd area starts to get nasty. Notice this gigantic boulder that's in my way. Didn't plan for that to be there. It just sort of ended up there, and I didn't pay attention. But I basically walled off this wall with these logs here. Now, by the time they get to this paddock, it'll be 3 weeks in. They should be pretty well trained on the fence, just not great. So this should be enough once I put electric wire on the other side of that wood. And it'll also help to test to see if it's if it's doing its job. The other thing was in the 4th paddock. This is my kind of entryway. It'll also act as another test because I'm going to run electric wire from here across. So there's this opening here where freedom is out there. So it'll act as another test to see if the electric fence is working, and it'll go to that corner. On the final week when they're in here, sometime towards the end of that week, this whole area here, this whole wall, the wire will be completely removed, and the only thing that'll be here is the electric fence wire, keeping them in. So that's the system. Like I said, I think it uses minimum amount of material for the amount of effort that's involved. Like setting this up and taking it down as the pigs are moving from one to another is a huge pain in the butt. I don't want to do that anymore. So this is the compromise. Now the reason that I'm going through all this effort moving them around from paddock to paddock is I want them to be able to forage in each spot and have it be fresh forage. Because if they remain in one spot for too long, they're gonna dig it up like crazy for one, which is gonna just, it's not gonna be good for the soil, and two, it's not gonna really teach them that there's roots and good stuff under there, because they're gonna eat it all up. So that's why this is such an elaborate setup to keep moving them from paddock to paddock to make sure that they always have fresh forage available. Now, as you can see out here, there's no plants like coming up to speak of. Part of that's because I just cleared all that mountain laurel, and that was taking up all the ground here. But there is still plenty of stuff underneath the ground. I'm sure there's probably some acorns. I just want them to have access to fresh dirt. So I hope this. I'm very confident this will work. If you're raising pigs, I recommend this method. Once they're out of here, then you can just set up 2-wire electric fencing in your main paddock, have them free range, and you won't have any problems keeping them in. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed learning how we do this here.